Welcome back to another video on the Nortex Mining YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, definitely please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up button if you guys think the video is worth subscribing for and staying tuned for additional helium content. All right. Uh, Continuing from the last video, we're kind of still on the topic of spoofers and the deny list. And what I really wanted to try and make sense of is how big of a problem is spoofing right now. So I know in past interviews there's been talk about, well, maybe it's, like 15% or 20, like it can't be more than 20% or whatever, right? People kind of throw numbers out. And definitely in the past, there was some very prolific spoofers to have stolen quite a bit of HNT, and basically that's not, we're never getting that back, right? The network's never getting that back. The other miners aren't getting that back. I mean, it's gone. It's gone. It's you know unrecoverable basically. And yeah, so the numbers that have kind of been thrown about by previously Helium Inc., now Nova Labs, is, hey, well, it's not really that big of a deal, but, how did we really know that, right? We kind of took their word for it. And today I want to just kind of take a small, quick snapshot of the GitHub, the deny list GitHub, and see what I could try and kind of make sense of. So, real quick to recap what happened last month at the beginning of April, Deeper got caught, or really one of their distributors they blamed it on. And so about 9,500 hotspots and 76,000 HNT um, were basically gone, right? I mean, the ban hammer came down, and that number of helium in relation to hotspots is right around 8 helium per hotspot. So I don't really think whoever spent the money on 9,500 hotspots necessarily got their money's worth for doing all this cheating. So hopefully, similar types of bans are gonna, and additions to the deny list are gonna, really dissuade people from trying to create these clusters and cheat, man. I mean, it's a problem. And, again, today we're gonna try and get into how big of a problem is this thing, right? Um, because hotspots still keep coming on the network, but I mean, how many are actually providing useful coverage? The pie of rewards just keeps dwindling day by day, week by week, month by month, right? So, um, yeah. So I am actually out sick. So these guys, uh, you know, unfortunately, I had extra time, and so I'm putting together a couple of these deny list videos to try and shed some light on this and see and share with the community what I've kind of found and what I've been able to try and make sense of. So the last video was how to report spoofers. Today we're at how big of a problem is this? All right, so let me stop rambling and just get into what exactly I did. All right, so what I basically did is I came to the deny list and made sure to only be searching in April for these additions. Then I said, okay, well, there's a certain amount that's open and a certain amount that's closed, and it looks like that's actually changed since I finished this a couple days ago. So it looks like they closed even more since then. But by and large, this is going to add up to uh, yeah, I mean, right around 792, 793. Yeah. So, or sorry, 772. Yeah, that still comes out to 772. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little under the weather. My math is. This is why I leave the math to the Excel sheets, all right? So this was about 24 pages worth on the GitHub here, right? So all these open editions. Yeah, this is 24 pages because there's 25 editions per page. Same thing for the closed list, right? There's 25 editions, 8 pages worth. And so these were those numbers. At the end of the month, they were about a 30% closed rate. So what I basically did was there's two numbers here that we're trying to estimate. How many number of hotspots are part of each edition? That's one. And then two is how much HNT is stolen per hotspot, right? Before this thing ends up on the deny list and eventually probably caught and cut off, right? So just a quick recap: the deeper ban was about 8 HNT per hotspot. There was another big cluster of hummingbird that was reported, and it was part of one of these. I can't remember which, um, but that was about 5.5 HNT per hotspot. And just for reference, right, there's 83,000 is the target HNT minted per day. So about 3% of the HNT in any given month. Um, I mean, I'm not sure this deeper happened all in 1 month. I don't think it was in 1 month, but even if it had been, let's say, all in 1 month, this is less than 3% of the HNT for that month that's minted, right? Or at least the target. So maybe not that big of a deal like Nova Labs claims, right? But anyways, so what I did was I went through the open issues, and I went through page one and I manually tracked it. All 25 all 25 editions. I manually tracked it and then I got the average. I did the same thing on 5 other random pages. So I have about 25% of the data for the open and 25% of the data for the closed. Now, I think this is kind of like an election where 25% of precincts are reporting in right now, is kind of what I would compare this to. So I'm kind of trying to call the race with only 25% of the data. I know this is a small sample size. I know this is, you know, not the best way to probably do this, but this is what I know and this is what I can verify. So this is what I did, right? I mean, I went through and I tabulated it manually. And um, so then out of all these, so between the open and the closed, the average is about 33 hotspots per entry, per addition to the deny list. And then I went ahead and said, okay, well, maybe if I take out the lowest and the highest, okay, that's about 25 hotspots, right? And so this is one of the variables that I'm estimating. The other variable is how much HNT actually got stolen, right? So the average between the deeper and the hummingbird big clusters here, I mean, this is 12, 13,000 hotspots, right? And so the average between here is, maybe just south of 7, right? Yeah, 6.7. So let's round up. Let's call that 7. And then let's say, okay, maybe this average is like too little. Maybe this is too pessimistic. And let's say between the people who are caught and now on the deny list, the people who are caught or who are reported accused of being cheaters, and then the people that we haven't caught yet, let's say maybe there's maybe like a 25% increase here, right? Maybe we've gotten about 75% of, again, kind of speculating. I don't really know how much more I want to inflate this here. But let's just take these two scenarios. Let's take these two. There was 772 open editions in April. So let's go ahead and do some multiplication here, right? So let's say, okay, let's say this 25% of data is indicative of all the additions in the deny list for all of April. Okay, so then that average is probably going to come out to about 33 hotspots per entry. And let's say they did better than, on average, they did better than Deeper, Hummingbird, and the people that we haven't caught yet. Let's chalk it up to 10 stolen HNT per hotspot. What does that come out to? A little bit over 250,000 spoofed or stolen HNT for April. Okay. Now let's say, well, maybe the rest of the data, maybe there's going to be some high outliers, there's going to be some low outliers, but by and large, it's going to be kind of around the 25 hotspot per entry mark. And let's say, well, this average was actually pretty good. I mean, there's really no way of being able to know for sure, but like let's just say, that that's a pretty decent average. I mean, people don't usually get away with more than 7 HNT on average across all spoofers. So I know this is very broad stroking it, but okay, let's see what that comes out to. And that's about 135,000 spoofed or stolen HNT. Right? And so again, we know the target HNT minted per month is about 2.5 mil. So 250,000, that's about 10% of the total HNT minted in April 2022. The 135,000 is about 5% of that. Again, these are estimates. I'm not saying this is what's actually happening. Again, I'm not sure without going through the other 75% of the pages here. I just don't have the time to do this manually, and I also don't know of a better way to scrape GitHub and be able to collect the counts. I mean, maybe that could be something that can improved on the you know form for adding something to the deny list, right? Is how many hotspots are you reporting in this edition? That would be that would be great. And then again, here we're also estimating, right? I don't, then we'd have to be querying the blockchain and seeing, okay, well, how much HNT has this hotspot earned in its lifetime? And it's hard to tell, right? Have they always been spoofers? Were they trying to do it legitimately and then they sold this thing to a spoofing farm? Or I don't know. There's a lot of variables to go in here. So this is my best guess, my best estimate. Again, I know it's a small sample size, but yeah, I mean, it seems like Nova Labs does have a way to, properly, query the blockchain, and they obviously have engineers that are way smarter than me, so they're able to do stuff like this, and be able to give these sort of estimates, and so I just kind of wanted to put something together that I was able to explain and was going to be somewhat realistic for the community to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, and if you guys have seen anybody else give an honest run at trying to estimate how big of a problem, how much HNT per month is actually going to spoofers, I would love it if you would drop that in the comments, and let me know, because I've been looking for that for a long time and nobody's actually taken data to try and show that. So, would love that. And yeah, let me know where you guys think I might have gone wrong in the comments. Um, and yeah, I mean, if you thought this was useful, if you thought this was helpful, If you think I should go through the rest of the data and kind of see if there's any other, big variants or anything worth exploring further, definitely let me know in the comments. But this is just kind of my estimates of what's probably going on as far as spoofing goes. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not much more than 10%, you know. Um, and even then, I mean, 10% of the monthly HNT minted, it's a lot. It's a big deal, right? It's, I mean, you're going from, 7 HNT, 10 HNT is maybe petty theft, right? But I mean, 76,000, that's grand larceny, so um, definitely it is a serious matter. I think it's being taken care of seriously by the Nova Labs team right now. And I think in order to keep discouraging this and keep stamping it out, it's going to take the entire community. So definitely be alert, be aware who's coming into your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, and you know, I mean, try and get everybody to play fair. And if they're not, and if they're cheating, then hey, report them to the deny list. I'll put a link to the video I did on how to do that and how to prove that they're spoofing. So again, hopefully I can get some a hold of a mapper, and I'll be able to show you guys what it looks like to be able to map an area and not get these spoofed hotspots, being able to process that data through them, right? So, um, yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Again, if you liked it, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll see you guys on the next one.